About 20 years ago, we had an idea to create an ecosystem for us who believe in the power of innovation, where knowledge can be shared and people, well, even plants, can connect, where strong ideas get facilitated, challenged, and accelerated. Where innovation can thrive and new sustainable possibilities can reach society. Where the business community, academic world, and public sector can collaborate on joint missions. This is Lindholmen Science Park, an idea that went from local to engaging people and organizations around the world. So come on, let's take this idea into the future.
Hello and good morning, Gothenburg again, and this time Lindholmen Science Park, the home of automation and automotive in Sweden, I would say. So I'm very, very happy to give the stage to you. And I can't see you at my screen at the moment, so I hope that you are seeing me. But Peter, please, the floor is yours and take it away.
Thank you, Stina. Good morning and welcome to Lindholmen Science Park. So I'm Peter Öhman and I will be the host here today. So we are delighted to share some insights of our work with open innovation here at Lindholmen Science Park. Now you will have the opportunity to learn from our experiences of managing hundreds of complex innovation projects within the mobility sector. But we will also give you a glance into the fascinating worlds of automated driving and logistics and transport efficiency. So with me today, I have Sofie Wennersten from Drive Sweden, Anna Christiansson from Closer, and Josephine Darlington from Closer and Drive Sweden to help me with that. But let's start with Lindholmen Science Park. It's all about mobility of tomorrow for people and goods. We are situated here in the heart of the automotive cluster of Scandinavia. And our mission is to boost the innovative power of Sweden. And we do this by accelerating research and innovation, mostly by facilitating open innovation and collaboration. But of course, we also work with our ecosystem here around the science park as well. But today we will focus on our work with open innovation and our projects. So it's the first bullet that we will talk about today. So we have two main processes when we are doing open innovation. First, we act as a neutral node. And the purpose of a neutral node is to facilitate knowledge exchange, elicitation of needs and requirements, collaboration, strategic road mapping, and intelligence. But we don't stop with that. We also bring the ideas into concrete, feasible innovation projects. So in the project process, we work with stakeholder dialogues, mostly project initiation, but also project management and dissemination of the projects. So we cover both worlds, the birth of projects, but also the execution of projects. So we have trying to summarize what we can learn from 20 years. We have identified 5 key success factors that we think is very important when you do open innovation. Collaboration. For us, that is being a neutral node without an own agenda. It's about trust. We are in the trust business, so to speak. Networking for us is to constantly find new important organizations or persons to build relationships with. Domain knowledge, well, that is about solid understanding of the partner's needs. Leadership, that is an area we are seeing more and more complex innovation projects with many partners, both vertically and horizontally. So there is a need for a new type of leadership that we work with. It's motivation-based leadership. We are leaders without formal authority. We can also take lead forming new big initiatives in Sweden as well. And finally, the structural capital of the company is important. For us, it is a solid support infrastructure consisting of finance, human resources, and management support. Very important in order to obtain the success. So to sum up, we have a portfolio of almost 60 projects organized into programs. And today we will deep dive into Drive Sweden and Closer. But as you can see in this slide, there are other programs as well covering most aspects of mobility of tomorrow. And we also work with enabling innovation that is needed to succeed in that. So with these words, I will hand over this to Sofie Wennersten from Drive Sweden. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter, for that introduction. And hello, everybody. My name is Sofie Wennersten, and I am Director for the Swedish Strategic Innovation Program Drive Sweden for digital, automated and shared mobility systems. We are funded by Vinnova, Swedish Energy Agency and Formas. And our vision is that Sweden takes a leading role in creating future mobility systems for people and goods that are sustainable, safe, and accessible for all. And we do that by testing and demonstrating automated and shared and connected transport systems. And I will explain to you now how we do that. And this is a slide showing our partners, and I show it because I would like to just illustrate the complexity that we are actually talking about in forming the new mobility system. In this map, there are about over 150 actors, and many of them are normally not the ones you think would deal with mobility. The ones in the top are the more traditional ones, the vehicle manufacturers, and in the bottom you have a lot of transport suppliers of different sort, from everything from freight, taxi, public transport, but also scooters, etc. You have the academia, of course, the authorities, cities, but also insurance companies, banks, and lawyer companies and the telecom industry. Their business models are, of course, also very much affected by this transformation. And in the middle, you have a lot of technology providers. And in fact, much of the innovation in this sector is driven by SMEs and startups. And that shows, about 50% of our partnership is actually SMEs and startups. And what we try to do is to help them and facilitate for them to meet the larger ones, to meet with public actors, with academia that they don't normally collaborate with or get in touch with. And we also join forces in international activities where we can be much stronger together. And therefore, I'm very glad that we have partners in 17 countries. So we're not working here in isolation from Lindholmen, because tomorrow's mobility is really a global challenge. And as we've heard, many of our automotive actors and the actors in Drive Sweden are, of course, global companies. So I've listed here just a few things that we've learned is crucial for the development of the mobility systems. And it demands a system perspective, and it needs to build on true needs. It needs to build on real challenges, and it also must be tested. We must test the solution in real environments. And everything demands collaboration, of course. And this has been the basis for setting up the structure of Drive Sweden that you see here. We're talking about some pieces that needs to be in place in order for the technology to be able to also develop and be implemented at a larger scale. There must be totally new business models that need to work in a sustainable way. We need public engagement and engagement with the end users, and we need societal planning processes that enable this and the new technology. We need data sharing and digital infrastructure that functions, and we need regulations and policies that hinder the development. So we have two roles, and Peter already explained it a little bit, how we are working in these program activities. We are really trying to understand the needs of our actors, and this we do by different meetings, much connected to the different themes that I showed before. It is a basis for our project activities, and we have both open calls and we have strategic initiatives. And if you want to dig deeper into the interesting results that we have from all these initiatives, you can go into our website and you see some more of that there. I will just give you now some examples of what we are doing. And starting then by something that is, of course, fundamental for a connected, automated, and shared mobility system. Well, it's the data sharing and the digital infrastructure. And what we have set up within Drive Sweden is what we call an innovation cloud, where our actors and partners can share data in their innovation projects. So we use it both in demonstration projects, but also in developing new services where totally new ways of sharing data will be necessary. And this is something we will also use in a new initiative that we are setting up together with AI Sweden, and where Closer also participates. And it's a program on AI and mobility, where we will build knowledge together around how can AI be an enabler for smarter mobility. The Drive Sweden Innovation Cloud is also used in building the digital infrastructure and learning about data sharing in the Lima project. And the Lima project is a new initiative that is an initiative that is soon being launched. It targets the companies here at Lindholmen, and will test a service where we integrate a number of transport modes into one service. So stay tuned to see how that goes. A lot of questions that we also bump into has to do with policies and regulations. And therefore we have a structure that we call the Drive Sweden Policy Lab. And here we tackle questions from everything from getting permits for new types of vehicles to what kind of data are you allowed to, what are you allowed to do with the data that you collect, etc. So this is a very important tool in our work, because if we don't get by the hinders connected to regulations and policies, we have problems. And then this question about how digitalization and automated transport system can actually create benefits for society. This is why we need to work very closely together with the public sector, the cities and authorities, in order to make sure that the technology goes hand in hand with the societal goals. And that is, of course, a bit different whether you work with urban transport or rural transport, and we need to work with both. And we need to all the time, we discuss a lot, and we have a lot of projects also focusing on the roles of the public sector in relation to the industry. And as I mentioned before, we need to start talking about designing the solutions together with the end users and together with the ones that are using the transport system. And we have some initiatives and projects focusing on developing methods for this that we can use also in other projects. And one way of engaging citizens, users, and the public the sectors, all sectors actually, are these tests and demonstrations. And you see some examples here, but there are many others. But I can only underline again how important it is that we really test and develop together, because it's then you get to understand the hinders connected to all the pieces of the puzzle that I showed before. So to summarize, warm welcome to get in touch with us if you're interested to know more. And what you can do right away is to sign up for our weekly newsletter, Smart Mobility. And you get every Friday the latest on mobility in your mailbox. So by that, I would like to hand over to my colleague Josephine Darlington, who works with me at Drive Sweden, but also at Closer. And she will, together with Anna Christiansson at Closer, present some of the freight initiatives going on there. So I hand this over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Agenda 2030 states we have 10 years to transform our world. This is the decade of action. Through cooperation, we are on a path towards economic, environmental, and social sustainability. Sustainable and efficient logistics chains are a fundamental part of that journey. Daily, massive numbers of containers and parcels are shipped to different destinations, locally, regionally, and globally. One can only imagine the monetary values of those logistics chains and how many people are affected. Also, in 2015, it was estimated that international trade-related freight transport accounts for 30% of all transport-related CO2 emissions from fuel combustion. Josephine, please tell us what Closer is.
Thank you, Anna. So, what is Closer? Closer is an open arena for innovation regarding efficient and sustainable transport solutions. We work together with a vast number of partners to tackle the challenges connected to the area, and this includes industry actors, the public sector, and the academia. Today, we want to give you a small insight into what it is we do and hope to spark an interest for you to reach out and connect with us. As you can see in the picture, Closer works within all areas of the logistics chain. At the left, you see long-distance transportation. At the top left, you see digitized and connected transport solutions. At the far right, you have urban logistics. And at the bottom right, you have sustainable energy supply. Staying with the latter, we believe that energy supply is largely connected to the electrification of long-distance and short-distance transports. However, when electrifying a whole transport system, a number of challenges are posed upon us. This means we need to look into new ways of working. How do we connect actors that haven't worked together previously? And gives us a number of questions to answer regarding how do we share common resources? How do we get actors to collaborate around sharing risks? And how do we create needed behavioral challenges? An example of a project that we've just launched, a large flagship collaboration project, aims to answer these questions and many more. REAL stands for Regional Electrified Logistics and aims to test and develop electrification of heavy regional logistics. As you can see, there are a large number of actors at the bottom of the page. This is crucial to be able to test such a large demonstration project. And you can see vehicle manufacturers, logistics companies, energy companies, the public sector, and the academia. And this truly shows the need to collaborate in order to get such a shift in the transportation system. Anna, would you please guide us into the urban area?
Of course. So, in the city, the transportation of goods are sharing small spaces with buildings, infrastructure, green areas, and most important, humans. Geofencing is a powerful and cost-efficient tool with many different opportunities. It can be used to create safe, attractive, and sustainable urban road transport systems. Closer's research and innovation program for geofencing is unique in its potential for large-scale implementation. Let me give you one example. For example, within a certain yet flexible area, a digital fence is applied. Within this zone, a requirement can be implemented to make it mandatory to switch from fossil fuel to electric drive when entering this area. Or another example, a boundary can prevent vehicles from driving above a certain speed limit, for instance, outside schools or in other areas with vulnerable road users. Geofencing is one solution of how to achieve sustainability in increasingly populated cities. Closer is also one out of 34 partners in a collaboration project called Density. Density is a platform for various innovation initiatives in urban areas. Most of these solutions could be tried out in basically any city in the world. So let's look at some examples, Josephine.
The first example being zero emissions from heavy vehicles in our cities. And how do we get this in place? Well, there's need for a number of investigations to look into range capacity. How do we ensure an efficient energy supply? How do we look into scalable business models? And how do we ensure that we have a solid charging infrastructure?
Or a barge acting as a floating recycling center. Instead of driving far away or keeping the stuff in the homes, people can come here and leave hazardous waste, electronics, or any other stuff they want to dispose. Fully functioning items will be donated to a non-profit for further use or resale.
And our last example here gives a great insight to that collaboration projects connected to the logistics chain doesn't just demand that typical actors connected to this industry work together. There's a need for cross-sector collaboration, which is a great example in Density's attempt for full-service properties. Here we need to engage together to solve how do we ensure that habitants can access sustainable deliveries and share services nearby. This is also needed when looking into the issue of combining transports for parcels and recycling. And this to lead to a decreased number of vehicles in our city centres and increasing the service level for its inhabitants.
We believe collaboration is key to new knowledge and in a sustainable future. And we want to expand our international network. So if you are an industry actor, big or small, maybe a startup, or if you come from academia or the public sector, please reach out to us. We want to connect.
And with that, thank you so much for having us today. And we hope to hear from you soon. And we would like to invite Peter back on the stage.
Thank you so much. Great presentation, and I hope you all get this chance or take this chance to really learn more about the interesting programs we drive here at Lindholmen Science Park. AI Sweden, we've already met some of us during the first day and also yesterday. And AI Sweden is a part of Lindholmen Science Park. And this is really in the core of Lindholmen Science Park to drive national program, not only for Gothenburg, but for the entire innovation system of Sweden. Because Gothenburg is really the port to Scandinavia, but we work with so many stakeholders all over Sweden. And AI Sweden is a proof of this. So the goal with AI Sweden, or the mission we do have, is to accelerate applied AI all over Sweden. So we do not only work here in Gothenburg, we work with science parks ranging from Luleå and Umeå up in the north to Malmö down in the south. And our goal is to accelerate the use of AI for the benefit of our society and the competitiveness of Sweden. And how we do this is by being, as Peter mentioned earlier, staying neutral to our partners, because we want to accelerate the entire ecosystem, and we drive this initiative by being a non-profit so that we can really help all of our stakeholders. I think Daria mentioned it earlier this week, but it's really about investing together and sharing with all. So that's how we work. And if you're interested in the AI community in Sweden, then please do connect with us, because we do have a national platform, we have a national responsibility, and we work with stakeholders ranging from academia to private sector, everything from the bigger corporates to the smaller startups, and also the head research, or the really pointed research, where we get access to some of the most prominent university professors in the area of machine learning and deep learning. So we create impact by working with excellent partners, really trying to drive their innovative abilities. We foster collaboration, because I know this has been a key part or a key word for the entire Sweden Innovation Days, but collaboration and partnership is really the new leadership when it comes to driving innovation. And we also foster networks, because we truly believe that we get better by working together. So if you're interested, please do connect with us. This is a slide of all of our partners. AI Sweden now has, in the same thing as Drive Sweden do have, over 100 partners. So if you're interested in the AI community, do connect with us. And Stina and or Maria, I would like you to hand over to you in the studio if there's any questions.
Hi, thank you, Peter. So let's see if we have any questions in the chat. We can see that there are some interesting topics going on here, and no more questions in the chat, what I can see.
Great. And I want for people joining us from abroad, I was in Stockholm yesterday. It's only a 3-hour train ride to Gothenburg. So it's really an excellent opportunity, if you're interested in the Swedish society, to visit all of our big cities. Come here, do connect with us. Hopefully we'll get to travel soon again. Then Sweden is a perfect place to really collaborate when it comes to innovation. Just travel between Stockholm and Gothenburg here.
I totally agree, Peter. Thank you so much. And we hope to travel soon and meet in real time. Thank you so much for the session.
Thank you so much.